Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I went tonight with my family. We went to go see Beetlejuice. And it was really good. I thought it was really good. I thought the first one was corny. The second one was really good. So we went and saw that tonight. The showing started at 6. So anyways, it was a lot of fun. I want to start living life, you know what I mean? Like, once my YouTube channel starts to expand and grow and I start monetizing, I just want to live life. I want to go have fun. So, yeah, life just passes you by when you go to work. When you go to work, I spend my whole day at work and I hate it. I like my job, but there's some people who just like to go to work, and that's fine, but not me. Anyways, if you guys haven't seen Beetlejuice, go see it. Super cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's time for some peelers, and we're gonna finish the book. I'm gonna do 2 chapters tonight and probably 2 chapters tomorrow night. My niece is having a Halloween party, so I have to be back home at a decent hour because I have to go to work. So, we're gonna go with, Creepers. These are really good books, guys. Anywho, okay. Let me grab, I always like to grab just 6 because 2, 4, 6, because I don't want to I watch calories, you know what I mean? But 6 pieces is 100 calories. And my favorite beverage tonight is just water. Awa. So, anywho. And once again, thank you guys for all the wonderful comments. I love your comments. I asked my brother, what is it about my voice? And he says, well, I think it's soothing. So that's good. Let me open up my water. I'm gonna have to go back to Safeway and buy me a couple more bags of these gummy grape. It says they're peelable. They're not peelable, trust me. But they're good. You can't peel them. Okay. Regina, here, this is for you. You know what? I need glasses. Okay, got me my glasses. Chapter 7. Hatching a plan. Let's just go back a page. Kind of see where we left off. I'm going to take a shower, said Jacob as he left the room. I'll leave Xavier to fill you guys in on what we've been discussing. Hatching a plan. The 4 boys made their way to the local park, taking a long detour around the school, hoping not to be spotted by any teachers or parents for that matter. No one seemed to be around, so they headed for the gazebo. Having frequented the gazebo for years, they also knew they'd be fairly safe from any unwelcome prying eyes. They sat cross-legged, Caleb grimacing as he sat beside his friends. Before the others would have laughed at their friend's misfortune, but having been afflicted themselves, they were sympathetic. Okay guys, Jacob began. We have to form a plan to find out just what this so-called perfect doctor's up to, and to rid ourselves of these ailments. I mean, look at us. You'd never find 4 guys worse off than we are now. I guess you might be alright. Xavier, if you could learn sign language and keep your mouth shut for the rest of your life. Xavier managed a wry smile. Yeah, right. Jacob, I know how bad it is, and I want it sorted out. We have to find out what this guy's up to, what sort of medicinal concoction he's given each of us, and if there's any way of reversing the process. She scared me. Here's good old Lola. I don't know if you can see her. Probably not. I have the camera kind of facing downward. She's a little stinky girl. The boys nodded in agreement. Okay, said Santiago. Here's what I think. Oh, hang on a minute. She likes to dodge the older cat, and I don't like when she does it. I know she's trying to play, but sometimes she can take it a little too far. Okay, said Santiago. Here's what I think we should do. There's no point in going to the office now. You know how busy it is every day. We really need to go there after business hours, sneak in somehow and see what's up. You're right, agreed Caleb. We'll have to go later tonight when things are a bit quieter. I want to get Dr. Blair back for what he's done. Make him pay for all this suffering. Gotta have gum, right? That's what we'll do then, said Xavier. But if we're going to stay here all day, we'll need some snacks. We're bound to get hungry. I'll go, said Caleb, getting to his feet. I have to go to the bathroom anyway, so I'll go to the store and buy some chips and stuff. I'll go too, said Jacob. The boys emptied their pockets and gave Caleb and Jacob what money they had. I hate to tell you this, Santiago, Caleb said as he turned to leave, but I think you just grew another wart on your chin. Jacob and Caleb left. Santiago took groan and touched his face to find the new wart. As they passed the park gates, they saw a girl in the distance stop in front of the school entrance. Is that Emma Summers? Asked Caleb. What? Where? Jacob hoped he heard it was wrong. He could not bear the idea of Emma seeing his skin in this state. Parking her bike over there. She looked to be the last arriving for school. Standing at the rack beside the door, closest to the road the boys were on. No, not now. She can't see me like this. As they neared her, she raised a hand to wave. Jacob was sure if they came any closer, she would notice his acne. He tried to swerve to take the street around the school building, but changed directions too fast. He walked and faced first into the bushes, bumping his head and scratching his already sensitive face on the branches. Emma stood staring, letting her arm drop as though she had forgotten it was there. Emma. Big selfies on the table now. There's her paw. Emma, don't mind him. He just saw a flower he wanted in the bush, said Caleb. Jacob appreciated Caleb's efforts to cover for him, but he doubted Emma believed them. Oh, he is. Is he okay? She asked. Jacob nodded frantically from the bushes as Caleb glanced over his shoulder at him. Yeah, said Caleb with uncertainty, and he cut the flower. Having returned and spent the rest of the day in the gazebo, with poor Caleb making frequent trips to the bathroom and reporting sightings of children he knew sporting huge cauliflower ears they had not previously had. The four boys all dropped their backpacks off at home, pretending to their mothers they had perfectly normal days at school. They met up again at the top of the road, leading to the doctor's office, and walked in, silent toward Dr. Blair's practice. The flustered receptionist was just leaving and about to lock the outer doors when she saw the boys approach. Is the doctor still inside? Jacob asked anxiously. Yes, he's still there, but I don't think he'll see any more patients tonight. He's had a thoroughly exhausting day, as have I. Maybe you boys could come back tomorrow. Xavier shrugged. It's okay. Nothing can't wait. We'll come back some other time. Hey, guys. He winked conspiratorially at the others. The receptionist smiled and finished locking the main doors. By then, she said, walking toward her car. She unlocked the driver's side, sat down, and carefully checked the sole of each shoe. Strange, she thought. There was a strong smell of dog poop back there. I thought maybe I'd stepped in something. His room light's still on, said Santiago. He's probably planning even more horrors for any kids who come in tomorrow. We've got to find a way in there. Circling the building, the boys couldn't believe their luck when they discovered an open window. Quick, said Jacob. Help me up. I'll go in and wait until he's gone. Then I'll have a look around and see if I can come up with anything. You guys stay here and see if you can find anything out from him when he leaves. Make sure he knows we're on to him. Maybe if we back him into a corner, he'll panic and tell us everything. The three friends, having watched Jacob climb inside the office, walked around outside, chatting casually, kicking empty cans around, and generally trying to behave as normally as teenage boys do. They walked around to the front of the building and saw that the light was now off in Dr. Blair's room. The three sauntered over to lean against his car. casually as the doctor locked the office door behind him. "Get away from my car," he admonished as soon as he saw them pass. "I knew it the minute I set eyes on you." Drawing closer to the boys, he grinned at Santiago, or rather at Santiago's words. "The medicine's working, I see," he said, obviously pleased. He turned to Caleb. "And how's Caleb? Still got the runs, boy?" Reaching into his pocket for his car keys, he murmured, almost to himself, "Never lets me down, that one. Always works like a charm." "So you're admitting to it then, Xavier? You did this to us deliberately, but why? Why would you want to do such a thing?" "Oh wow," the doctor recoiled. "A bit too successful, that one," he said, covering his nose and taking a step backwards. "That really is the worst smelling breath I've come across in a long time. Won't be very popular with anyone smelling like that now, will you?" Caleb pulled at the doctor's sleeve. "You've got to give us something to counteract these effects. Doctor, please. Can't you see how much we're all suffering? Look at us." Dr. Blair disdainfully brushed Caleb's hand from his coat sleeve as he climbed into his car. "How dare you touch me?" he hissed. "And don't tell me I have to help you. Why do you think I did this in the first place? I enjoy seeing your suffering. Do you really think I'm going to spoil my fun and reverse the process? You can't be serious." Well, tell our parents and we'll go to the police, expose you," sputtered Santiago, enraged. Dr. Blair fixed his gaze on the boy. "Santiago, yes, your mother was quite interested in me, if I remember correctly. As was yours, Xavier, and yours, Caleb. Do you really think they'd believe I would do anything to harm their precious children, especially afflicting them with ailments as peculiar as these? I think not. Brats. But don't worry, the potions will wear off in a few years." He laughed a cold, chilling laugh which hung in the air. Turning the key into the ignition, he rolled down the window. "Believe me, boys, I'm living proof. I used to be ugly when I was your age, covered in all manner of pimples and warts. But just look at me now. Women who wouldn't have spared me a glance when I was a teenager are now swooning all over my office. Eat your hearts out, kids." He looked at each boy in turn. "Take this as a warning. You better back off. I can get really nasty, and believe me, you don't want to know what that looks like. If I were you, I'd just be grateful I only gave you minor afflictions. They're not exactly life-threatening yet." He pressed his foot on the gas and laughed his maniacal laugh again as he drove off. They watched as his car disappeared down the road ahead. "He deserves to look just like all of us," Caleb said. Life-threatening, life-threatening. How dare he say? How dare he?" said Santiago. "Calm down," said Xavier, patting his friend's shoulder reassuringly. "We'll sort this whole thing out. Don't worry, but we have to stay calm and try to think straight. Come on, let's go see if Jacob is okay. Maybe he's found something that will help us." The four boys went around to the open window, which thankfully the doctor had not noticed as he drove away. Jacob was busy at work inside. The boys had to tiptoe to reach the frame and see how he was doing, and saw that he had completely torn apart the doctor's office. There would be a lot of cleaning that would have to take place for the doctor to realize the boys had been there. Jacob slowed down. Caleb yelled inside. Chapter 8. Kill or Cure. I need some agua. Okay. Meanwhile, Jacob had indeed found something inside. He had found jars and bottles with labels that claimed to do things beyond our wildest dreams. As there was still a fair bit of sunlight streaming through the window, he was able to see things clearly in the room. Everything seemed normal. The doctor's calendar showed nothing out of the ordinary, although Jacob did not have a hard time deciphering some of the notes scribbled there. The gray metal filing cabinets that lined the walls still had the keys in their locks. Jacob opened the drawers easily. He read the names from the top drawer: Archer, Black, Dixon. Pushing that drawer back in, he pulled open the middle one. This drawer was mostly in names that started with H and J, so he moved to the back. Hill, Jackson, Jung, that's it. He pulled out his file. Jacob Jung, date of birth 7/10/2010. Yeah, that was him, alright. It was definitely his file. Pulling up a chair beside the doctor's desk, he opened the file and started to read. This is all old, he thought. The files included the time he had to have stitches when he fell off his bike. His mom had insisted on removing his training wheels, even though he had told her it was much too soon. And then, the time he'd had an allergic reaction to a new brand of detergent his mom had bought that had been awful. He was covered in tiny little pinpricks from head to toe. He felt itchy just thinking about it. Beginning to enjoy himself now, he made himself comfortable. He leaned back in the chair and crossed his legs on the desk in front of him. And then he heard a noise. What was that? He started sitting upright at the desk. Then he noticed what he'd earlier assumed to be simply a wall was actually sliding doors that had been covered perfectly in wallpaper to conceal behind them a huge walk-in closet. He must have inadvertently hit the button to open the doors when he put his feet on the desk. He stood and walked toward the now exposed closet. Wow. The sight that greeted him was astounding. As he walked along the side of the room, it was far more fitting that it to be called a room, as it was much too big to be a closet. He saw more jars, bottles, tubs, and every other type of container that you could possibly imagine. They were enclosed in glass shelves of display cases that were attached by built-in locks. The jars on the top shelf were the largest and were filled to capacity with different colored liquids. The containers on the second and third shelves were slightly smaller and again filled with different colors of liquid. Jacob noticed that the bottom shelf held empty containers in lots of different sizes, some of which were similar to the one his acne cream was in at home. So this is the doctor's dispensary, thought Jacob, looking more closely at the jars on the other side of the glass that were labeled very clearly and precisely. His eyes traveled along the top shelf of the left side of the room. Unbearable itch read the first label. Hair thinner red the next, followed by extremely large and flaky dandruff, chronic diarrhea, horrible breath, incontinence. Jacob shuddered when he read that one. Smelly armpits, rotting brown teeth, green pus-filled pimples, yellow pus-filled pimples, huge white heads, and finally triple combination pimples. That's it, he stopped. Triple combination pimples, that's what he gave me. Glancing further up, Jacob saw a large notice above the shelves that read afflictions and ailments. Looking to the other side of the room, he saw that the notice above those shelves read cures and remedies. The jars on the top shelf were also labeled well-conditioned hair, healthy bowel movements, sweet-smelling breath, white, even teeth, clear, perfect skin. He stopped reading and did a double take. Clear, perfect skin, a dream come true. He'd check it out later. For now, he had to concentrate on creating a plan. This Dr. Blair sure was weird. He must have discovered a way of bottling these illnesses, and now he spends his time getting them into children's bodies. What a creep. Jacob saw syringes lying beside jars that had the name of the illness printed on the label, with the word vaccine added below. More than a little anxious now, Jacob was almost afraid to look at the third shelf. He swallowed and looked down. The first one read, partial or complete paralysis. Jacob felt sick. Loss of sight, read the second. Jacob could feel the skin start to prickle on the back of his neck. He looked at the third, a terminal illness. He knew almost before he turned what he would see when he looked at the corresponding right-hand shelf. He tried to open it, where it attached to the lock, like a filing cabinet, but it was locked. Keys for the cures. He searched the countertops. Jacob said in a nearby voice, "Jacob, are you in there?" Jacob exhaled deeply with relief. It was Caleb, thank goodness for that. In here, Caleb, but prepare yourself. This guy's pretty much Dr. Death. I'm not joking. You'll never believe what I just found. Caleb came into the dispensary, closely followed by Santiago and Xavier. Jacob indicated to the signs above each wall of shelves and left the boys to read while he went back into the doctor's office to sit quietly at the desk. Xavier was the first to join him, having seen all he needed to in Dr. Death's chamber of horrors. Neither boy spoke, waiting instead for their two friends to absorb everything they had just seen. I knew the guy was a weirdo, said Jacob, but I didn't expect to find all this stuff. How could anyone do such a terrible things? I mean, what does he do? Inject illnesses into kids and pretend to be concerned when they get really sick? And does he cure them right away at the last minute, or does he just... Jacob couldn't finish the sentence. It was too awful to think about. Anyone got any ideas? Asked Caleb. What are we going to do? I will be taking one of these cures and remedies with me. Xavier approached the side with the cures. You're not going to have much luck, Jacob warned. What do you mean? Xavier tried to lift that lid of a locked shelf. I've already looked for the keys, Jacob said. Xavier began frantically searching under the mass of papers and files on the doctor's desk. Jacob stood to help. It only took the rest of them a short time to realize this was useless because the doctor probably had the keys with him. "We're going to have to think of a plan," Jacob said. "Again, whined Xavier. "I want him to experience what he's put us through. Revenge. I want to replace those vials." Jacob pointed to the doctor's desk. The doctor had several of the vials from the cures and remedies shelf on his desk. "We can come back tomorrow. Schedule an appointment," said Xavier. "Then we can break back in here again." "I'm sure he'd be delighted to see us," Caleb said sarcastically. "He can't reject us, can he?" Xavier argued. "We're gonna need a key to that shelf," said Jacob. Just one of us should come back tomorrow," said Santiago. "I'll do it," Jacob said reluctantly, much quicker than the other boys. "We could all skip school again," Caleb joked. "I'm sure your mom would never know," Jacob said sarcastically. "Come on, your mom is just as curious and likely to find out," Jacob said Caleb. "I'll tell my mom I need a checkup for my acne. She'll be more than happy to have another excuse to visit the doctor." "I don't think this is our best option, Jacob," Santiago said. "He will certainly be expecting something after seeing us in the parking lot." "All the better," Jacob said with a sneaky grin. The boys looked incredulously at Jacob. "What?" continued Jacob. "It's better if he suspects us. Keep him on his toes. I can have the keys before he even knows I'm here." "That's impossible," said Xavier. "He will have a list of appointments before the day begins. He will be expecting you." "I need some water." "Let's just bring the glass so we can take all the cures and remedies we need," said Caleb. Then he will definitely know who did it. Not only that, that's not going to fix anything. He will only keep doing this more to kids," Santiago argued. "We have to replace the vials," Jacob said. "Using what?" Xavier asked. "If he sees someone has broken his glass shelves, then he definitely won't trust the vials we replaced on his desk." "Think about it. We can take care of our illnesses, and we won't have to mess with him again," said Jacob. "And he can't call the cops on us for breaking and entering, or he will expose himself." "I'm for making sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. Dr. Death deserves to experience what he has put us through," said Caleb. "I will have no problem convincing my mom to come back here tomorrow," Jacob said. The rest of the boys agreed they should return to school the next day. 2 days away would likely lead to a phone call home. Jacob replaced his file in the filing cabinet, and he and his 3 friends opened the window and crept out into the night. As the boys neared their neighborhood, they went their separate ways, and Jacob began to realize he would be the one replacing jars and spending the time sneaking behind the doctor's back in the office. "I guess I'll see you on the other side," Jacob said as he separated from everyone to go to his house. "You better not start fixing your ailments before the rest of us can start fixing our own," said Caleb. He smiled at Jacob. "But no, really, be careful tomorrow. Don't get caught." Jacob raised his head proudly. "You won't have no you won't have to worry about me. Jacob practices fake cop the rest of the way home. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. There's 2 more chapters left. I will try and squeeze them in tomorrow night after the party. I don't plan to be home super late. Let's see what happens. The doctor's crazy. So there's 9 and 10. See, there's 10. Oh no, there's 3 chapters. So we will read 3 chapters tomorrow night and finish the book. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. I probably go too fast sometimes. I need to slow down. Alright. Have a great day, great night, great morning, wherever you're at. And see you tomorrow.